caught in the crossfire. Caught in the...
What's up, guys? Lance the Obscure Movie Guy coming to you once again with another fun-filled, fact-filled video that you probably won't care about, but we're going to do it anyways, trying to change the world one post at a time. Today I'm coming at you and talking to you about a brand new racing film that's going to be dropping later this year. It had a special premiere this past weekend at the 24 Hours of Daytona. It will have its official premiere next week in New York. Today I'm talking about To Die For.
Breathe. You got this. Remember your training. Focus on the one thing that matters. Winning. Okay. Now I'm ready.
Fire up.
24 hours on the clock. The world's greatest endurance motor race in the center of France.
Le Mans is different from any other race that you can think of.
Nice move, Felipe. You're the fastest car on track.
Endurance racing is all about resilience.
That's quite a hit into the tyres, isn't it?
I think we should keep the soft tires. Negative, Felipe. Driver change and wet tires.
Here, you need to truly trust your teammates.
Se não tivesse parado para botar o pneu de chuva, a gente já tá liderando a corrida.
It's little things like that that can lose you the races.
I have to get back at the wheel again.
Porra!
Okay, Felipe. You're up.
What's the difference between a dream and reality? I know my life's on the line. Afraid? What else should I do? That's what winning Le Mans means to me.
To Die For chronicalizes the 2024 24 Hours of Le Mans and follows driver Felipe Nasr from Brazil in pursuit of the overall victory of the world's most prestigious endurance race held at Le Mans each and every year. It is done by a small production company based out of Brazil, written and directed by the Abdallah brothers, basically with an 8-man crew who are also Brazilian. So you got Brazilian production company following a Brazilian driver in his pursuit of the overall victory of the world's most prestigious endurance race. And this is a racing film like none other. So To Die For is basically a docudrama as we follow Felipe Nasr as he starts dead last in his class and tries to work his way from the rear to the front for the overall victory. Now, for those that don't know anything about endurance racing, each team is compiled of 3 drivers. Obviously, one driver can't drive 24 hours. That would be insane, even though that's how they used to do it. But these days, there's rules and regulations against doing that. So you'll follow Felipe Nasr when he's in the car. You'll follow Felipe Nasr when he's out of the car. And as I said, it is a docudrama. Felipe Nasr is a very real racing driver. He is not an actor. The footage that you see is very real. It is unedited. It is uncensored. It is Felipe Nasr in his purest form as the racing driver, and you get to ride along with him. You get to hear the radio transmissions between him and his crew. You get to see what he does in the car. You get to see what he does out of the car. This movie is the rawest experience you'll find of following a racing driver during a race like this. It is absolutely brilliant in the way it was presented. It was brilliant in the way it was executed. The opening sequence of this film is absolutely amazing and has shades of Days of Thunder and even Cars. Yes, Disney's Cars. It starts off very much like that, throws you into the mix just like Days of Thunder with Tony Scott, and it is just done brilliantly from there on out. The Abdallah brothers were able to capture not only scenes and feelings that auto enthusiasts or motorsports fans could enjoy and follow, but even if you're a casual viewer of stuff like this, or even if you're just a casual fan of cinema in general, this film literally has something for everybody. It is incredible how well this is done. If you're a racing fan, you're going to be in it for the cars, the noise, the sound, the race. If you're a casual fan, you're going to get wrapped up in the drama that was the 24 Hours of Le Mans. This isn't F1. This is not the Brad Pitt movie F1. This is real, and there's nothing more real than the real drama that goes on in some of these races. And you're going to follow Felipe, like I said, starting from last, trying to go to the front. He's going to run into problems. He's going to run into weather issues. He's going to run into, being tired and exhausted, and he's going to run into some other issues towards the end of his stints. And you can't make up this kind of drama, and they were able to capture it all in its purest form. The Abdallah brothers are a couple of young gentlemen that I got to talk to over the weekend and hang out with for a little bit that have an immense passion, not just for motorsport, but for filmmaking, and were able to bring these two worlds together in beautiful harmony. I mean, the way this was shot, the way it was done, I can't talk enough about the cinematography, and I'll dive into that a little bit more. But the Abdallah brothers themselves, they've been doing this for quite some time. Not a long time because they're still relatively relatively young. I got 20 years on them, but they went big with everything. This was really their first foray into making a feature-length film. It is shown in IMAX. They're huge fans of Christopher Nolan, and if you're going to do things like Christopher Nolan, you're going to have to go big, and that's exactly what they did. And they did it right. I mean, they did so many things right. I mean, honestly, I don't generally rate projects, but this is easily a 9 out of 10 simply because if I do rate a project, I never give anything a 10, maybe except Predator and Smokey and the Bandit. But this film and those two kids, man, they've got a bright, bright future in front of them. And just, they're very humble. They understand where they started from using GoPros and just capturing extreme motorsports in their hometown and putting stuff together. And they kind of fell into doing some marketing for Honda in Brazil. And it's just fascinating, their story. And now here they are with literally a feature film on the biggest screen you can come up with, which is IMAX, and it was incredible. I think the beauty of this film is, like I said earlier, there's a little bit for everybody. I mean, if you're a hardcore racing fan, you probably already know the result for Felipe Nasr in the 2024 24 Hours of Le Mans, but you easily forget what that result was when you get wrapped up in the drama of the story and the stuff that he was going through during that race. If you're a casual viewer and you kind of know things about race cars, you're going to get wrapped up in the excitement of being in the car and seeing what it's like ground zero, at 220 miles an hour. It is amazing, especially the opening sequence. It was brilliant. If you are just into movies themselves, or if you're into filmography, or if you're looking for ideas on how to execute a film, you're going to get wrapped up in the artistry of this film. There is some incredible cinematography within this film. And if you're an editor, the editing in this film is brilliant. Specific songs played for specific reasons. The lighting, just the shots that you get. It's just you have to see it, because when it comes to the lighting, you're relying on the cars creating the lighting. You can't set up a shot with this. You can only set up the camera and hope to get the shot. And they pulled it off every single time. They pulled it off. It was amazing, some of the pictures and cinematography that they got. And as I said earlier, you can't write a better script. You're going to get wrapped up in the drama easily. Like I said, even if you know the results for that race, you forget them. I forgot him. I've watched Le Mans for years. I remember what happened to him during that race, and I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, here we go. And then you're like, oh my gosh, you get wrapped up in the drama and you're pulling for this underdog movement, and you're like, you're just in it with him. And I like the fact that I don't want to spoil anything because I really want people to go see this film, but I really enjoy the fact that they were able to draw you in with that drama. Even if you've seen the race, you still get drawn in with this drama and everything that's going on. You kind of forget about what had actually happened. And then when you get to the end, you're like, fuck, I feel that with him. I feel that with Felipe Nasr. It's incredibly well done. I can't express that enough. And Felipe himself will tell you that he is not himself an actor. There's only like one or two scenes in the film that are kind of scripted just for the aesthetic. But realistically, you're following him throughout the night, you're following him throughout the day, and you're learning what his habits are. stuff that you don't generally get to see with a lot of these drivers, especially if you're a race fan like me. I just got done staying up all night. Well, not all night, but I just got done staying up watching the 24 hours of Daytona. There was a 6-hour caution in the middle of the night for fog, so I slept during the caution. But regardless of that, if you're a race fan like me, you watch these guys week in and week out, and you kind of feel like you know them, but you never really get to see them on a personal level. And the Abdallah brothers are able to take you into Felipe's personal world, what he does, whether he's carb loading in between stints, or whether he's meditating, or whether he's sleeping or drinking tea. Like, you're getting an insight into who Felipe Nasr is as the person. Incredible experience, and I commend Felipe for allowing it to happen. The Abdallah brothers were able to get a lot of permissions from Team Penske, Team Porsche, Felipe Nasr himself, to pretty much film anything and everything that they wanted without any type of restrictions. They were very keen on not getting in the way of anybody, so the shots that they got them, and they were sure to stay out of the way of the team, the crew members, the cars, the driver, and to let it be as raw and as authentic as possible. And they captured everything that they needed. Now, I wanted to make sure that I did this video today because today, the 24 Hours of Daytona ended. They had their semi-premiere this weekend at the Rolex 24. The actual official premiere will be next week in New York, but the Abdallah brothers were like, we did a movie with Felipe. If we're going to premiere it, there's a movie theater right across the street from Daytona Speedway, which is where all the cars are going to be. That's where the race fans are going to be. Let's do a small premiere for those people. And every showing was packed. When I went to buy tickets, I had to buy tickets for like a Friday night at like 10 o'clock. It was the last showing they were going to have that night because everything else was pretty much sold out all the way through Sunday. But it was amazing. They had a race car on display. Felipe Nasr went to some of the showings, answered questions. The Abdallah brothers were very upfront and answered, did a Q&A after each session, even the late one, took pictures with everybody. They are great people. They are going to be doing some great things and very humble beginnings. And it's incredible to see, for me, somebody who's just kind of getting into doing the whole filmmaking process, they're already like way ahead of a lot of people and doing some incredible stuff. I really commend them on what they were able to do with this film. And you can definitely see inspirations from like Days of Thunder, Cars, even some other films, because it does take on a much more dramatic tone, especially the third act of this film. And you're going to see stuff that you're going to see stuff at this racetrack that you don't think would even be at a race. But yes, in Le Mans, they do hold Sunday Mass trackside for those Christians that want to go to church while the race is still happening. And it's one of those things where, you get an insight not into just the driver or the team, but the actual track and the ambiance itself and what some of these fans get to see and do at these events. But as I said, I wanted to make sure that I get this video done today. The Rolex 24 just ended a couple of hours ago. Happy to say that Felipe Nasr won the Rolex 24 for the third straight year in a row. So that is a 3-time overall winner in IMSA. That is an incredible feat. That is a very small group of drivers that have been able to do that. I think Helio Castroneves is one of the other drivers, which is another Brazilian. Plus, Helio is also a 4-time Indy 500 winner. So Brazil's got some really good race car drivers, and I don't want to say too much about their next project. They are already trying to start their next project. I know what it's on. I'm not going to say, but if it's anything like To Die For, it's going to be done right, and it's going to be done as a love letter to the driver, to the fans. If you are a race fan, you can probably put 2 and 2 together and figure it out, but I'm not saying anything. But man, and if you guys get the chance, because it is going to be in IMAX and it is having its premiere, I think it's going to New York next week for its official premiere, then after that to Atlanta, and then hopefully after that to a lot more theaters. It is quite the IMAX experience. I highly recommend it. Even if you're just a casual viewer, if you're a hardcore race fan, you definitely don't want to miss it. If you're a casual viewer, I think you can definitely still get wrapped up in the drama and the story of what happened that weekend. And if you're into filmmaking, I would highly recommend going to watch it and studying its editing and its cinematography because it is beautiful. Just to give you an idea, man, the night scenes of this film, night racing in Le Mans is always brilliant because Le Mans is run on public roads. part of it is on a actual track, but a lot of it is on public roads, especially when they're running through the woods, which is still insane to me to this day. The track has changed very little since 1923. But they're running through basically the woods at 200 plus miles an hour, and just the lights of the headlights of the cars bouncing off of the trees as they come down the Mulsanne Strait. Um, and there was even a really, really cool sequence in the middle of the film during one of the night scenes that they were, it was slow motion. The cinematography was slowed down, and they were playing Billy Idol's Eyes Without a Face. And I just thought it was brilliant because, the headlights of the cars kind of are the eyes of the vehicle, and Eyes Without a Face was just a perfect song to go along with that aesthetic. It was just so well done. I can't express that enough. The cinematography, the editing is just brilliant. I mean, these guys should definitely get some awards for putting this thing together. It's like I said, it is a race film like no other. It is an experience that you just have to experience. So I'm going to leave it at that. Look out for To Die For from the Abdallah brothers, starring Felipe Nasr, yes, the race car driver, former Formula One driver, current IMSA driver, 3-time Rolex 24 winner at Daytona. 3 in a row, not just three in a row. So, but congratulations to these guys on getting this off the ground. I wish them the best of luck moving forward with their next projects. I can't wait to see what comes down the pipeline from these guys. These are going to be a couple of guys to be on the lookout for. Remember the name Abdallah Brothers. They are going to be something to look out for. Like, subscribe, and comment to my YouTube channel. Check me out on Facebook and Instagram. I'll see everybody in the next video.